So I don't class myself as a gamer. And that's after decades of playing video games on consoles, on computers, on other platforms, and even on mobile devices. Am I a casual? I would say so. But it's a really interesting place to be. Hi, I'm Rob.
I have the better lighting setup. I'm also called Rob.
You're not so red this time.
Nah. It was the app. The app wasn't connecting to my phone. Now it is, so we're all good.
Ah, so your creative bulb is working fine now.
Yeah. Because in older videos, you'll have noticed, and on the Uncut podcast, you'll have noticed that when I use the room light, it gives me shiny forehead, and I hate shiny forehead. It makes it look
Yes.
like I've basically been sat in my own grease and goblin mode, as the term is. But I haven't. No, it's just the bad light bulb. It's not my fault.
And contrary to what people think, I do have a light which is right next to me. You can probably see it flickering on and off there.
Yeah.
It's just I've got this massive light bulb overhead, and my other lights are all put away. So
Yeah.
that's just
But
how
what
it
we're
goes.
talking about, what we're talking about today. We're talking about.
We are talking about video games now. We're I would say we're both in a very interesting place when it comes to video games.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've both got long histories with video games, and I I I know that I've historically talked about my issues with the word gamer. I'm not going to bring that up now because there's no point. Um, but being where I am now with video games, I mean, I mainly play like one or two things as a kind of wind down at the end of the day. I'll log into Final Fantasy 14 and just hang out and do a few things. That's it, and hang out with people I know there. Or I'll play like casual games on my mobile phone when I'm waiting for a bus or something like that. But that's pretty much the extent of my gaming these days.
But I think you need to explain your gaming going back, because you
Yeah,
can't make a sort of a suggestion with gaming if that's all people know about you, that you
no,
play Final
I
Fantasy
know.
and you do stuff on the phone on your at the bus stop.
Yeah, I know. It's just like I have like a very, very, very large games collection on PC, on console, all sorts of things, physical and digital. I've played thousands of games over the years, for everything from the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64 all the way to now. In fact, I think I've still got my old grandstand machine somewhere in the loft. You know, the old one.
Yeah, just to sort of throw it out there, if you're talking about your games collection, but that's sort of like a vague concept. What's the rarest thing on there, just to get people by the attention to show your gaming credentials?
My gaming credentials. So, a couple of rarities from my games collection. I have Kuon on the PS2, which is a Japanese survival horror, and that is worth quite a lot of money.
Mm.
I have Star Ocean Director's Cut, which is the Japanese version, which has the little catalog as well, and that's sealed. And that's probably worth a fair bit as well. I have the entirety of Final Fantasy on PS1, PS2, all the way through.
I think
And
you've
I have
dropped you've dropped your plans and shown off your
well,
length
I
pretty
have
well.
I have a very large horror and RPG collection on PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and various others. I've got like loads of N64 games and loads of Game Boy games, loads of SNES and NES games, loads of Mega Drive
Yeah,
games.
yeah. I think it's important to stress where you come from when you talk
Yeah.
about where you are, because if you just say, "Oh, I don't play games anymore," people are like saying, "Oh, I don't care." You got
Well,
to have the narrative arc there, where it began and where you are now. I think that's
I
important
mean,
to stress.
if you want me to say where it began, that began with the grandstand that's in the loft, which we still have. It had the dial
Oh
controller,
no,
so
but
we
you know
had.
what I mean. You can't invest in what someone's saying about now if you don't know about the before.
All I'm saying is, I turned 50 in October, and that just shows you how old I am when it comes to video games.
Hmm. Yeah, that's valid.
So yeah, but I mean, your history is, is quite similar. Okay, you are younger than me, but you don't collect like I do, but you've still played a lot.
Probably, yeah. I remember my first ever game was the New Zealand story on the Spectrum ZX.
I remember the cheat code for that on the ZX Spectrum.
Um, and then I got a Mega Drive Mega Drive, which is a Sega Genesis, I think, in America. Master System, Dreamcast, PlayStation 1 through 4,
Yeah,
5 even, sorry, Xbox Series X, and N64, and a Game Boy. So I've got a storied history, I guess.
yeah. I mean,
And I'm in a contemporarily speaking, I'm even more ambivalent and checked out of games than you are. Because I
yeah,
wouldn't call myself a gamer at all. I don't care. I'm finished. I'm
mm,
gone. I'm game over, man. I'm just outside of the industry.
yeah.
Um, Simple as that, really.
The thing is, I don't miss it. I don't miss sitting down playing video games constantly. Spending hours on them. And for a long time, I thought I would, which I think
Yeah.
is the unusual thing.
I think we need to start to look at this as sort of an industrial level. There's so
Yeah,
many videos going up about how the video game industry isn't really paying attention to what people want, need.
yeah,
It's only caring about their bottom dollar, making as much money as possible. You see so many video channels. One in particular is Legendary Drops, who just annoys me because he has nothing positive to say about the video game industry. His channel is based on him ranting and moaning, and there's so much of that out there. How people are just sort of tired of what's going on, but it's a sense of like tiredness where they're still fully committed to the industry. They still want to spend all of this money on the industry.
yeah,
And I think there's a growing number of people,
yeah,
and I think it's biggest threat the biggest existential threat the video game industry has. Because if you go back to whatever generation it is to now, it's consistently been 200 million people who get consoles,
yeah.
and I think that's under threat, like it's never been before.
Well, I
Um,
think that's one of the. I think that's one of the problems when it comes to video games is that a lot of people automatically equate playing of video games to consoles and
it's
forget.
just easier for the case of
Yeah,
um, it's a bit more extra when you're a PC gamer, considering the amount of caveats and things you have to keep on top of.
I know. I'm just talking about in terms of numbers. There's probably just as many PC gamers as there are
Oh yeah,
console
yeah.
gamers in the world. It's
But
just whenever they do the numbers, they only focus on the
you
console
kind
gamers.
of you kind of ignoring my point completely there to try and score one up on me, you arsehole.
I'm not trying to score one up on you. I'm just saying that the base is a lot bigger than the 200 million if you
My
include
point
the
is,
PC
Rob,
gamers. Yes,
there's a lot of people who are tired of games that don't think they can
yes,
afford it anymore. And they're
yes,
worried because they are gamers, they love gaming, but they just don't have the passion anymore. The passion's been beaten out of them, or in the case of a lot of people, it's just this constant race to the bottom where the companies want to get as much money out of you as humanly possible. And they refer to like people who they can exploit heavily as whales and all these
yeah,
sorts. I think the white whale is one way you can really take them to the cleaners, and the industry's just so exploitative, but people still love it. And
yeah.
it's this rock and a hard place where they want to be gamers, but the industry isn't really making it easy for them.
Well, this
And
kind
that's
of
that's
plays in.
currently that's the sort of the status quo that I suggested this topic
Yeah.
for. Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's what I was going to say. The reason why I brought up PC gaming was because it does fit with what you were talking about. Because if you look at the changes that Microsoft made to Game Pass, for example,
mm.
that's just an example of, and Microsoft were always saying, "Oh no, this." They were making when Game Pass was introduced, they were saying all the right things to attract PC gamers, and even some console gamers or mobile gamers to sign up with Game Pass. But now, when you look at it, you're like, "Well, hang on, is it still worth the money?" No, it's not. It's
there's
become this
there's other
exploitative thing.
there's other caveats too. I mean, the idea that people who are priced out of video games and consoles will just automatically go to PCs. No, they
Yeah.
won't.
No, they won't.
And
Exactly.
there's too many storefronts. There's too many like bits of hardware that you need to consider. And a lot of people, like you mentioned earlier, of how you deal with games now, they just want
Yeah.
to, after a hard day or whatever, just turn on the TV, turn on the games machine, and just
Exactly.
tune out for an hour. And the sort of the caveats that are involved in doing that on
Exactly.
PC are just not worth it. And you could I recall back to an earlier video that we did on the Steam machine, and I don't think that would be the response either, because that isn't as boundless as it could be. It's very it's basically an entry point. It's not able to
Yeah.
play the sort of games that you would on a console. Um, the
Well,
upper
I mean,
echelon, I guess.
I think the other caveat to switching from console to PC gaming, and I think this is, you know, very relevant, especially now. See, we've had Steam and Epic Game Store and all sorts of other storefronts for years as part of what we do, right? We've had them for what, 15 years now? And over that time, we've had like loads of games added to our libraries on all of these storefronts. So we have all of these games, some of which, you know, you've never even seen or touched, you know, so you have all of that that you could immediately access. But most people making the jump from console to PC don't have that. They would literally be starting from scratch, having to buy
And that's an
this from
intimidating.
Steam. Exactly.
It's an intimidating place to start from absolutely zero.
Exactly. And that again is one of the things that prevents people making the jump from console to PC. And as you said, there's all the hardware involved. You have to get the right PC. You have to do this. You have to
It's
do that.
beyond that as well. It's the monitor as well. You can't just get any old monitor that you use for work. You have to have one with a
Exactly.
certain refresh rate and all of this sort
Yeah.
of
I
stuff.
mean,
It's just it's the amount of data you need. It's I'd say PC gamers are nerds, not because gaming is inherently nerdy, but it's the amount of stat chasing and database stuff and data and information and specs that you need to keep on top of, which is just bewildering.
well, I mean, on that front though, there is. I mean, unfortunately, right now, it's really, really hard to find a PC that you want because I mean, even the parts are getting priced out of the market. The price of RAM, the price of GPUs, the price of all of that is just gone through the roof because of AI and so many
which
companies
is
just
which is a
switching.
bubble which will pop as it
Yeah,
currently is, but it's still while it's still functioning as a bubble, it's going to drive prices way up.
yeah. I mean, the price of RAM now is ridiculous. The price of, and I found out that my processor is worth a lot more than I paid for it. So you
it's
know
it's just like if
that
you
raised a
if
few
it
questions.
so, so that's the gambit. So if you're sick of PC console gaming, just move to PC. It's just don't. It's a false equivalency. It
Yeah,
doesn't exist.
it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know, when you examine it, because it sounds like a great idea, but when you examine it on balance, there's so many things that you need to sort out or arrange, and then you know the thought of starting from scratch because there's no like if you buy a game on a console, you don't automatically get it on PC. It's on that
Well, yeah,
console,
obviously.
you know. So that means if you want to play the games from your console on PC, you have to buy them again. And most people are very loath to do that, especially with the price of games going up. I mean, if you've paid for, say, Horizon Zero Dawn, let's pick that one out at random. If you've paid, say, 50 quid for that on PlayStation 5, are you going to pay, what, 30, 40, 50 quid for it again on Steam to play it on
You'd have
that
to
if it's
be
available?
a mad big fan of it to pay that much on it.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
then you've got the endless re-releases and updates and fixes and stuff like that of The Last of Us.
yeah. It's what I was saying earlier. Like that 200 million that's baked into the console market, that is going to
Yeah,
shrink. That's going to
yeah,
contract in the coming years, I think.
Yeah.
But the reason why I did this episode is not to talk about sort of the ramifications of what the video game industry is doing and all this
Mm.
and all that. It's to sort of look at this idea that people who are so in with gaming can't see themselves as never not. I'm not as double negative. Like never not being a gamer. Um, it's it's kind of weird and sort of it's just weird, really. Because to take a personal stance, I was after the PlayStation 4, I was and ahhing with what I was going to do.
Yeah.
I feel like there was something subconscious deep in there that just felt like maybe I'd had enough of PlayStation. Maybe I just had my fill. I didn't know at the time, and I was just and ahhing. So I went with a Xbox Series X. And at the time, even now, I'd say there's just no games for it. So I sold it to that guy over there,
Yeah, I
uh,
bought it off him.
and then I got a PlayStation 5. And I thought I'd give up. I'd see what PlayStation has to offer. I'd give it one final throw, and it was awful. Really, I may have bought about 10 games. Most of the time, that PlayStation 5 was used as a Blu-ray player for movies, which, as you can see behind me, is my thing, as well as the ducks. Pay attention to the ducks, damn it! um, but most of the time it was a Blu-ray player and just Netflix and Prime. And I thought this is an awful lot of money on this under this TV to just use as a Blu-ray player, like £450 for a Blu-ray player. The Blu-ray player you could get for that would be stupefyingly good.
Yeah.
Um, so I thought, you know what, I'll just sell it. And honestly, I've not really missed it. It's kind of been liberating because it's one of these things that when you're a gamer, you don't notice the sort of the bad habits that you've slipped into. Because the way I see it, and after I've been through GA Gamers Anonymous,
Yeah.
I've noticed that gaming is basically a pretty bad addiction.
Yeah.
Um, like chasing, you play a game and you're always about what next. You have this to do pile, you have your all of a sort of chasing the next hit. It's constant. You never think, you know what, I've had enough games. I'm not going to buy another
Yeah.
game for another 6 months or so. It's never that. It's you finish one, what's next? You finish that, what's next? You finish that, what's next? And you're constantly building up these things. And it's one of those things where every game's like 70 quid, 50, 70 quid. It's like, you know what, that's a lot of money spent on a lot of things that you never appreciate because you're always chasing what's next. And I felt so liberated getting out of that sort of. I don't want to call it a rat race because that's a different thing. But it is kind of the same thing.
It's a good analogy. I mean, one of the thing that always gets me about this particular topic is just how manipulative the video games industry has been in creating that environment for people. I mean,
Mm,
you had all the trophies and the achievements and stuff like that on all the consoles, and then you had the promotion of FOMO, the fear of missing out. Oh, you must get this. Oh, yes, and then you had like the pre-orders, for video
yeah,
games. That was
you
another
don't get
manipulation tactic.
like Ubisoft in particular, where you don't actually
Yeah,
get the full game on any version. You've got to basically pay like 100 plus quid
exactly.
to get the full game,
Exactly.
which is nuts.
Um, and then the addition of DLC, I mean, the horse armor thing from there
Oh, it's going
onwards,
back, yeah, yeah.
yeah. But from there onwards, when the horse armor came out and everyone was going, "Oh, it's stupid. No one's going to go for this," but then it got normalized, and then it became the thing. It's in every video game. There's always DLC. There's always this
Yes, there is.
addition to the game.
Hmm.
So all of these things play into this idea that you must continue to buy into this particular environment to do this and this and this and this, and that's how gacha gets. All those gacha games get their hooks into you by
It's
feeding that.
Effectively, gacha games do the same as mainstream games. It's just gacha
Exactly.
games are a lot more cavalier
Obvious
about it.
and obvious about it as well.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
difference.
but yeah, there's no difference. DLC and gacha. I mean, remember all the loot boxes
Yeah,
that EA was put.
surprise mechanics, which
Yeah,
just
surprise
makes me
mechanics.
think there's like a group of mechanics that hide in bushes places, like jump out at people.
No one expects the Spanish mechanic
Yeah, yeah,
That
no,
was that was labored and tortured.
no, no, just no. But
Just no.
it feels like it's sort of when I talk about my personal circumstance that I've been defeated by gaming, but honestly, no. It's kind of freeing.
Yeah,
Um, because there is, just to take a slight tangent, there's that whole thing about dumb phones, isn't there?
yeah,
How you stop being a slave to the screen.
yes.
Which is, I know that's an irony saying that in front of a mountain of Blu-rays. I don't have, I'm not constantly watching them, am I? They're just, um, yeah, they're there for entertainment when I want it, not like forever chasing what's next.
Yeah,
But once you get away from that sort of obsession with stuff, it frees you up to do other stuff, and I think that's just the lesson which is getting buried among all the fear tactics. But
yeah.
a lot of the
Because
videos, like I can't remember, there was a British woman, I can't remember the name of her channel,
was that
um,
Lady Decade?
Lady Decade, yeah,
Yeah,
and people like Lady Decade and Legendary Drops, they have that sort of inbaked fear in what they're producing as content.
I just
And
realised their initials are both LD as well.
there's probably more, but I'm so out
Yeah,
of touch with video game online culture. But there's so much negativity in that space
yeah,
that even just stop watching stuff is like a nice sort of removal from the toxicity of the video game industry, and that's what it is. It's another metaphor as well. Nobody hates wrestling more than wrestling fans,
hmm.
and nobody hates video games more than video games fans.
I'm basically checked out with a lot of because I used to watch like all sorts of videos about video games, like keeping up with the video games news and watching all of these different YouTube channels about video games and stuff like that. But pretty much the only one that I watch these days that's anywhere related to video games is Jesse Cox and Dodger on Geek Enders on their podcast. That's it. And
Yeah,
the main reason for that is because they're funny and they're fun. And they're not really down with the whole negativity. They just want to enjoy themselves.
yeah. I mean, it. You could describe this video as it's okay to grow out of gaming. It's
Yeah,
not this be all and end all. You shouldn't define yourself by your games collection.
exactly. I mean, my games
Um,
collection sits on shelves, and I don't really pay that much attention to it these days.
I wasn't referring to you in particular,
I'm
but
just
if you
saying
want to
that
make it about you, then sure, make it about you.
I'm not. I'm just saying I don't really pay that much attention to it. It's there, but it's just there. That's it. I don't obsess over it or anything like that. It's like you with your film, with your collection of Blu-rays and stuff like that. You don't obsess over it. It's there.
Yeah, I mean, just to explain my Blu-ray collection, I have Blu-rays because they're all stuff that you won't find on streaming.
Yeah,
And if I want to watch something, I can just look back there, and if I've got it, good. If not, maybe looking to getting it. So I'm covered for when I want to watch something and it's just not available. But that sort of streaming problem is another episode altogether,
yeah. I
which
mean,
we'll get
for
into
me,
one day. But mm,
my video games collection is it. It ended up kind of similar. It wasn't intentionally like that, but that's unfortunately how these companies have made it because of storefronts.
what was that phrase that somebody said? And I don't know what industry it was. It says you'll own nothing and you'll like it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't
You
remember
know,
who said that, but somebody did.
yeah, somebody said it. I can't remember who said it. But yeah, that's literally how it's ended up with me. I've got all of these PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 games, all these Xbox games, and Xbox 360 games, you can't find them anymore on any storefront because those storefronts don't exist. PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita games, they don't exist anymore. All of these games that I own that are sitting on my shelf, but I keep them now because I don't have access to them any other way.
Hmm.
And that's the unfortunate thing. And again, it's one of those things where the companies have made it so that you, as somebody who plays video games, it becomes increasingly difficult for you to do that without spending way more money.
Yeah, I mean, even when you buy new games, you don't actually have the game
Yeah,
like
exactly.
digitally, not physically. I mean, there was the whole furore about the Switch 2 where it's just a download code,
Yeah,
and a lot of PlayStation games are like that too,
yeah.
where the
I
disc
mean,
is just basically a download, an executable download file.
yeah. But I mean, selling the box for a game that doesn't exist in the box is just that's
It's
very,
these sort
very
of things.
low.
It's totally. I'm done. I'm finished. I've washed my
Yeah,
hands of it, and it's so liberating.
yeah. I mean, even for somebody who's in marketing, though, just selling an empty box to people is just like, I don't know who
It's
came up with
pretty.
that, but
It's like scales of evil. It's
yeah,
up there with making the tiles in supermarkets smaller, nearly expensive stuff, so you slow down nearly really expensive stuff.
yeah,
It's up there with that.
it's very, very manipulative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, most of the time we don't think about it. I mean, we're talking about it now because it's come up, but the rest
It's
of the
just a
time,
thing to sort of bring up because a lot of people are worried about
yeah,
like being a gamer. I mean, they can't afford it anymore. The passion's been sucked out of them, and um, I hate to say it's okay to give in, but it's okay to give in.
yeah, it is. I mean, the thing that I would really like is if people just kind of took a step back and went, okay, look, can I continue doing this? Can I continue being like this? And just have a bit of self-realization, which companies like Nintendo, for example, really don't want you to do. I mean, all those people who continue to support Nintendo and will buy anything that Nintendo put out, no matter how bad it is. It's unfortunate, but that's what they rely on, the continued addiction. I mean, it's like a drug deal. I hate to say it, but it is like that.
When you take a step away from it, you realize how many toxic behavior patterns are in the video game industry.
Yeah, that are
It's
promoted by
pretty.
the companies.
It's all there. It's really bad.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
but
like taking the video, even on a story level. I mean,
yeah,
if you watch a movie and you think, I like that story,
yeah,
uh, I had my fill. I've had closure. There's no such thing as closure in video games
no,
because a character always has to have a next game. It always has to be pushed further. It always has to have a sequel. And not always, but you know what I mean. There's an awful lot of things where a character who had closure will continuously be pushed out because it makes money
yeah,
rather than a story being concluded. It has to continuously make money. It's an IP. It's guaranteed it'll continuously make money. And of course, Hollywood does that too. But Hollywood isn't all movies,
yeah,
whereas the games
exactly.
industry that is all game sort of upper echelon games.
I mean, if I had to
And
think, I think
Hollywood and it's kind of a false equivalency saying Hollywood and AAA are the same thing because AAA is far bigger than Hollywood is.
yeah, I mean, the games industry is far bigger than Hollywood is. The games
Yeah,
industry is worth more money than Hollywood is, and people don't realize that the games industry is not this niche thing that it used to be when we were kids. You
no, it
know,
is huge.
it dwarfs all the other. I mean, the games industry dwarfs the music industry, the movie industry, and also the television industry. You
And
could take
literature, probably a good few of them at the same time, actually.
you could take pretty much all of the other entertainment industries, and they would still be dwarfed by video games
Yeah,
in
so
terms of cost, in terms of how much money they make. Video games make so much more money than all of the other entertainment industries combined. And people don't realize that's how big the video games industry is, and that's how mainstream it is. Because they like to feel that this is their special niche, this is their thing.
Yeah, and the video game industry isn't run by anything other than avarice. And if you don't know what that word is, because it's not used very often, it's a level of greed where you can never have enough. You
Yeah.
always have to have more.
And this is the unfortunate
Um,
thing
yeah,
because
it's
you've
it's
got
rampant capitalism, video game industry, and it's just one of those things. It's just, but I don't want to, because it feels like that if we talk about this anymore, it just ends up insulting the video game industry, and that's not what I really want this
yeah,
to do. Because people still do love it, but I'm just saying that
yeah,
you don't need to be defined by it. There is an
yeah.
after,
I think
and it is
Jesse
quite
Cox.
happy.
I
Yeah,
think Jesse Cox put it best. If you have a degree in business management, you shouldn't be running a video game studio
nah.
because all the decisions that you'll be making are going to be based on, they're not going to be based on what the player wants. They're going to be based on, what kind of percentage can we get from this? What kind of thing can we do with this to make more money?
Yeah, in essence.
And and the weird thing is we see that in movies as well, but this is one of the reasons why. I mean, we talked about the death of Hollywood in and what comes after in an older episode. You'll find it on our channel, and we were talking about how indie films are basically on the rise. We see more and more of them, and that's exactly the reason why, is because Hollywood
Yeah,
became too corporate.
yeah. There's indie games as well, but I feel like there's too many of them,
There's too
and
many of them.
they cannibalize each other, and
Yeah,
no other industry has it as bad for that
yeah,
sort of self
exactly.
cannibalization.
Exactly. And you'd have to wade through the morass of just copied and tangented and, plagiarized indie games just to find some. I mean, there are some gems that are really short narrative pieces that
Oh
are
yeah,
just
some
wonderful.
beautiful indie games.
Yeah, they're
But
just
I mean,
fantastic. But
they even have a phrase for how much indie crap there is, like shovelware.
yeah,
There's no other industry that has that. It's just,
exactly.
it's so overload. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to do this chat about the idea that it's okay to not be a gamer. There's a happy ever
Yeah,
after.
there is.
Yeah, and
I
if you really need to be a gamer, what console did you love,
Yeah,
and just treat that as your thing.
yeah.
Like PlayStation 4, just get loads of PlayStation 4 games and just play and play this things that you love, and that's fine.
And PlayStation 2 was, PlayStation 2 and Dreamcast, I would say, are mine.
But you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
find whatever that is for you and go for it. You don't need
yeah.
to constantly chasing the whatever's next and whatever's new. Because I think after that sort of the PlayStation 3, it all kind of plateaued anyway.
And there was some good things that came out on the
And I
PlayStation
mean,
4.
visually, it's not really
Oh
got
yeah.
hugely different since the PlayStation 3. It's just frame rate and particle
Um,
effects and lighting effects.
I
It's
think there was an upgrade in terms of textures and stuff like that from the PlayStation 3 to 4,
it's marginal though.
but it's noticeable, I would say.
My point
Rather,
is,
yeah.
going forward, all we're getting is more
Oh yeah, going
noise.
forward, yeah, it's just I I don't see why you would need a monitor that this puzzles me, really, really puzzles me. Why would you need a 240 hertz monitor, you know, when the
Your eye
game's
can't
running
see
at,
past. You can't. Eye can't see it. It just sees a
well, it's
certain
not that.
level, and then the rest of it's just
The game runs at 60. Why do you need 240? That's what doesn't make sense to me.
marketing.
Yeah. I can understand all sorts of things. I mean, I suppose with the refresh rate, if you're a competitive gamer, that's where refresh rate would become a thing. But most
But
people
still,
aren't.
240. You can't. I can't see past. I don't know what it is, but it's nowhere near that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the resolution thing is the other part of that. And you're like, well, hang on. This is why I keep saying 4K is a lie, because once you go past 2K, it becomes really difficult for most people to see the difference.
In 4K and plus, it's about size. So if
Yeah.
you've got like a 25-inch monitor and you've got like 8K, it's utterly meaningless because it's
Well,
about scaling upwards. It's about scaling bigger when it
yeah,
becomes like that. It's about the amount of information that the screen contains, and the
yeah.
bigger you get, the more it can really use that resolution. But if you've got like a 25-inch monitor and it's 8K, you're basically being ripped off.
Exactly. And like I said, for most people, they can't really see the difference between 2K and 4K.
Not
You
really.
know,
Most
so
movies are released as 1080.
yeah, but no one really questions why.
So there
That's
we go. Like
yeah,
the cinemas, 1080.
yeah. And
Except stuff like IMAX. IMAX will be, I don't know, like 8K or some stupid thing. But normal cinemas, 1080.
and it's crazy how much companies get away with stuff just by not informing people or selling them a lie that this is this and this is that.
But yeah, we're straying into other conversations now, I think.
Yeah. I think we,
But the
I think,
point of the matter is here, it's okay to step away from gaming, and it's not as frightening as some ranters on the internet would have you believe. It is kind of a
yeah.
pleasant sort of peace to it as well, not being as part of that whole mechanism.
I have a question for people, especially people who play with other people online. Um, because I've played like multiple MMOs, World of Warcraft, RuneScape. I've played so many different MMOs and settled on Final Fantasy. And I've got people that I talk to in the game. You know, I'm on Discord, on voice chat with them, and we're just having a conversation while we're just literally just pissing about. But we're not really playing the game. It's more the social experience of it.
Hmm.
And I'm curious how many people who play with other people actually spend their time playing games as opposed to just hanging out with people.
It's an interesting question.
You know, because if you're saying that you're a gamer, but then most of what you're doing is hanging out with your mates, I wouldn't say you're a gamer.
No. But if you have any sort of thoughts on anything that we've said in this episode,
Yeah,
whether you think we're talking out of our asses, which you are legitimately okay to think that, everybody
that
has
is
their
also
opinion.
entirely possible.
No. But if you want to join the conversation, if you have anything to say on what we've been talking about, please do join the conversation in the comments below. Otherwise, please do subscribe to keep up with all the other stuff that we do, including a number of podcasts. And I will just say this here. All of us are lost. Our lost based podcast is has gone to podcast heaven with many of our older retro classic flavor podcasts when we just did it as audio only. But yeah, the uncut, the thing that I'm doing, we'll be doing more interviews in the new year. But subscribe for all of that. Um, Interesting 2026 when depending on when this falls, it might have already started. I don't know. Time is a flat circle. Um, but yes, until next time, whatever this episode or the Geek Show might entail. Thanks for watching.
Bye.